Yo, what's good, my people? Y'all know who it is. Y'all know what it is. Let's get into this. So, there's a video going around about a young girl or a girl. I don't know how young she was. She looked pretty young. But it was a police. It was an altercation that happened in Harlem. It looked to me like a couple of dudes were getting arrested. There was a bunch of cops. I'd say about 7 or 8 cops trying to arrest 2 dudes. And this girl walks up and is talking to one of them, and then the camera kind of like veers off a little bit, but you see her still there. And then, but she's right in the mix of it. Now, mind you, there are 8 cops there at least trying to subdue 2 guys, it looked like, and she walks right up to them. Now, what it seems to be is that the cop pushed her back, and then she in turn pushed the cop back, and the cop then looked to me like he punched her in the face. Now, there are many ways to view this thing, and I'm just going to go through it. The cop's way is he's going to say she was too close to the thing. They have to control the perimeter. They were, they're nervous and all the usual shit they say. And she was too close to whatever happened. And ultimately, she put her hands on the cop. That's going to be their defense. Now, in her defense, they didn't have to do that to her. He could have easily just arrested her. He could have just pushed her or arrested her. He did not have to punch her in the face like that. That's what it looked like to me. I mean, she was skinny as hell, too. This girl couldn't have been more than 110 pounds, and the cop that hit her, he hit her like she was a man. Look, this is just a sad case of, everybody. I think everybody has fault in this case, including the girl that got hit. Do I agree with what he did to her? Do I think that he had to hit her like that? No, absolutely not. I think that was excessive. I think that was just disrespectful, being that she was a young woman. And, he could have very easily handled it in a different way. And I wish that these cops would look at it, especially when they're dealing with a woman like this, and say, how would I feel if somebody did this to my daughter or my sister or my mother? You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, whether the uniform and the badge is just an outfit, you are a man first. She is a woman. No matter how you view her because of whatever neighborhood she lives in or her ethnicity or whatever the case may be, she's a woman, and she doesn't need to. You don't need to do that to her. Really, you don't. Now, like I said, there's blame to be casted on everybody. She should have not gotten involved the way that she did. I've been arrested many times, and the thing that the cops do, especially when they arrested you on the block and the block is lit and there's a bunch of people out there, they do not want nobody approaching them. Not while they're not while they're arresting you, none of that shit. They're going to tell you to back up continuously. She walked up on that scene and put herself in the mix of that fucking altercation. And the cop, like they usually do, he forcefully told her to back up, where he pushed her. She pushed him back, and that led him to hit her. Like I said, I do not agree with him hitting her, especially hitting her the way that he did. But she has to understand that. And people are saying, oh, well, they're going to sue and this, that, and the third. I don't think they have a leg to stand on, honestly. And it's sad. I know it's sad. It's very, very unfortunate. But the fact of the matter is they were arresting somebody. She walked in between that. He pushed her, telling her probably to get back and get away. She chose to hit him back. And then he used what they call necessary force. Now, I don't think it was necessary. The public at large doesn't think it was necessary, but that is not our judgment call. That is what the police are trained to do in those instances. They are trained to use necessary force. And that means whatever they deem necessary. And like I said, it wasn't necessary. He could have just pushed her back, told her to get on the wall and arrest her too for interfering and putting her hands on a police officer. He chose to hit her. I think it was excessive, but when you take into account that these cops, especially New York City cops, have gotten away several times with actually killing people, I think that she does not have a leg to stand on. I think the most that they're going to do to this man or this cop is maybe give him a paid suspension, or give him desk duty for a little while, maybe even transfer him to a different precinct. This all goes back to training, and people, and let's get this clear. This wasn't a white officer that did this. This was a black officer. So the race card does not have nothing to do with this. And anybody that's from the hood, anybody that has had dealings with cops, especially in New York City, where there is New York City is, I haven't been to LA, but New York City, especially like the Bronx, I would say is a very diverse police. Like they're very diverse with the police. There are just as many Puerto Rican, Dominican cops and black cops as there are white cops. There are a lot. It might not be just, but it's a mixture. Believe you me, there are a lot of Spanish and black cops in New York City, and it just boils down to, like I said, training. It wasn't nothing to do with race or anything to do with, it's just this man was excessive. This girl got in between something that she shouldn't have, and unfortunately, this is what happened. And this is just, like I said, we are in a time, we're living in a time where everything happens in real time. We see everything as soon as it happens. So it's very shocking. It's when you see it with your eyes, it's more shocking than when you hear it. Back in the days, we would hear these things, or we would read them in the paper, and we would be, it would upset us, because, it's still upsetting to hear that a man, whatever happened between the police or whatever. But when you actually see it, like when we see these robberies and these shootings and all this stuff in real time, it affects you a lot more personally, deeply. It's just seeing is believing, pretty much. You feel me? Look, man, we need to do better on both sides. The police need to be better. There's no I gotta agree with my son on this. Do I think that this black officer would have handled a white woman like this? And I'm not trying to I'm just saying that if he was on 34th Street and they were arresting two men or whatever, and a white woman came up to him and she did what the girl did, I do not think that he would have handled her the same way that he did this young lady. I honestly feel that way, I don't know what it has to do, if it's, I don't know why, but I just do feel, I feel that way. I have to say that. So, look, it is what it is. Y'all check out the video for yourself. It's going around. Everybody's seeing it. It's in, TMZ has it. Academics has it. I'm sure you can find it if you type it in. It's police altercation. The police punches a woman in the face in Harlem. And yeah, man, make your own assessment. And thanks for watching. And until the next time, peace.